about the teaching. So parents, if you want your child to be the best mathematician, comics like this, you can all see it on the screen. This one's to do with amazing angles. So I'm teaching you about angles. How do you understand angles? How do you interpret angles? What sense do you make of angles? So this is the one to do with angles. And in this one here, we have got two additions in one, and that's why it's called doubles, okay? In this one, you've got equivalent fractions, where I'm teaching you about fractions, specifically equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are fractions that look different, but they've got the same worth and value. And then the other half of this is to do with amazing angles. Our third comic, which was this one, is about multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. And this is a key skill that you need to master. I've been working with some year 10s, and we were looking at a particular topic. We were looking at equations, and because they were weak with multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000, they were not able to access the question with confidence. So it starts at a young age. It starts with this comic, okay? So this one is about multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000 and beyond. You need to know about which direction the digits move as you're getting 10 times bigger. It's all explained in here. As I've said, each comic comes with an activity book. Now, this one I'm holding up now is the Sun activity book, and this one goes with equivalent fractions. So what you do, you read the comic about equivalent fractions, you get that excitement, that knowledge, that understanding, and then at home or in the classroom to support and consolidate learning, you've got the activity books where each activity has been specifically and specially designed by yours truly, me. So you do not find these on the internet. You do not find them in any textbooks. I've designed each one. So that means these are unique. And each activity is designed to challenge you and to move you on with your learning. So each of these activities I've designed to challenge you, to make your learning really, really exciting. So there you go. That's me in your top left-hand side. And this particular activity is one of my, it's called Odd One Out, okay? And what it is, I've given you three fractions in each of these boxes here. In each, I'm going to get my directions correct. In each of these boxes here, there's three different fractions. One of them is the odd one out. And you have to circle the odd fraction that does not belong with the three. Another activity that is just so amazing. It's exciting. It makes you want to learn, and it makes you want to know about fractions. So there's a Sovereign comic logo on the back. There's me in the background behind me. And this book was to do with equivalent fractions. It's an activity book packed full of activities. In fact, if you're a class teacher, this is your lesson. This is your whole half-term lesson about fractions. When I was teaching full-time, this would have been invaluable. So this book is specifically and directly teaching you about fractions and equivalent fractions. So it's not just a gimmick, it's an actual teaching resource. So once again, if you want to get a hold of any of our comics, you need to go to Sovereign Comics, all one word, sovereigncomics.co.uk, where you can order as many as you want online. But I'm super excited to be talking about the multiplication tables check comic, which is out. And it's a 2-in-1. So you've got the comic, and then you've got activities that at the back of the comic where you can practice what you've been taught in the main comic, and you can really fine-tune your multiplication tables. Adults, parents, young people, secondary, primary, university, whoever you are, this is invaluable. And this is what you're getting from the Math Show and from sovereigncomics.co.uk. And get your copies. They're there. Order hundreds of them. If you're a school head teacher, order hundreds of them, thousands of them. Because if you give each child one of these comics, you are guaranteed your results, their understanding, and their knowledge is going to be accelerated and it's going to go through the roof. That is a fact. I know what I'm talking about because that's what I do. I consult in schools and I explain to teachers how to get the best from the pupils. This is one of my tools that I use. Okay, right. Today's show is all about bar modeling and how we can use bar modeling to support, to enhance, to introduce, to consolidate, to deepen a young person's understanding of maths and number. So, what is bar modeling? Well, I'm going to explain it you see, sometimes when I listen to other radio shows, some of the language that presenters use is language that the average person cannot always understand, cannot always make sense of. On the math show, we lay things we make it easy for everyone to understand. That means you are engaging with me, and that means you can take away the learning and you can make it your own, and then you can deliver it to the young person in your family or in the classroom with a lot more understanding and knowledge and a lot more feeling behind what you are talking about. So, what is bar modeling? Well, the word bar, I want you to associate with a rectangular bar, okay? I've got one that I've drawn here. This is a rectangular bar, okay? What is a rectangle? A rectangle is a quadrilateral. It's a four-sided shape. You've got two long sides and two short sides that are parallel to each other. And that means they're opposite, they're parallel. And as you know, parallel lines do not meet, okay? And you've got two long sides and two short sides. That is what makes a rectangle a rectangle. So bar modeling is about using rectangles to support, enhance, to deepen your understanding of maths and number. And it's very exciting, okay? So bar modeling is a visual representation of a mathematical problem that uses rectangles to represent quantities or amounts. That's what bar modeling is all about. Now, where did bar modeling come from? It was developed in the 1980s in Singapore. And it was designed and developed to help students who were struggling with maths by making it visual and by making it really easy to follow. It was brought into the English education system, and it's just exploded and it's just taken off in a really positive way because it's about logic. It's about making sense. So remember, developed in Singapore in the 1980s, and it was developed to help students who were struggling with maths and couldn't quite maybe get the concept and the understanding or the skill behind what they were being taught. And the rectangular bars are proportional to the size of the number, which makes it even more logical. So the bigger the number, you got it, the bigger the rectangular bar. And what we're doing in this country, in the education system here, is we've dovetailed it, we've incorporated it into what we call the CPA approach to teaching. CPA, C stands for concrete, P stands for pictorial, and A stands for abstract. And this is like the process that a young person needs to go through so that they can understand something with a lot more feeling, and then it can be consolidated. So the concrete is where the young person is touching, holding, moving. They're actually manipulatives so that can help them to understand what they're doing. So for example, we've got what we call base 10, it's called the Deans, and we can use it to help young people to add up 6 plus 12. Because you've got different sizes of the Deans, the base 10, and when the child puts them together, they can get a total. So that's the concrete, it's the touching, it's the physical, it's the holding. Then you've got the pictorial. And I've just showed you a picture of my rectangle, okay? Now this is where you're using your eyes, and your eyes are informing your brain to make sense of what you're doing in a much more visual and creative way. So you are helping that mental visual picture to create. And then the abstract is where you move away from the first two, and then you are able to actually mentally call upon what you've been taught and answer questions without having to use the concrete and the pictorial. But we can combine them all together. So with the Singapore maths, with the bar modeling, this is part of the pictorial part of the CPA approach to teaching. Wow, this, you know, this math show, it's without even me realizing, we're going to really high levels all the time. So bar modeling, it helps students to understand how to solve problems by showing what calculations are needed. And I personally bet we can use bar modeling for addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Today, we're going to be doing it with fractions. You can do it with ratios, proportion, money. You can do it with time. Bar modeling is very, very universal in terms of the maths topics. You can have a topic and you can use bar modeling. I've used bar modeling for algebra. I've used bar modeling for simultaneous equations. That is like GCSE level because it's visual and it helps you to create a mental picture of what you are learning. Wow. It's Wednesday, it's 5:30, it's the maths show with me, Mr. Numbervator, on Chalkwood Community Radio Station. And today's show is about bar modeling and how we can use bar modeling to support the development of key maths concepts and skills and knowledge and understanding. Bar modeling literally comes from using a rectangular bar, because that rectangular bar, we can then split it up into equal parts, and then we can use those equal parts to make sense of fractions. And those of you who know me really well, you know that fractions is my utmost 100% favorite topic in maths. Why? Because fractions are all around us. Fractions are visual. Fractions are interactive. Fractions are exciting. And yes, I know there's a lot of you out there, you're looking at me, you're watching me. There's a lot of you who do not like maths, who do not like fractions. But by using bar modeling, it enables you to actually make maths come alive. It allows you to make maths come alive, okay? That's what it does. It allows you to make maths come alive. So that's why I'm doing today's show. Yes, Dean was in the picture. That's why I was asking him to move. You were sitting in the chair, Dean, so people were asking, who's that? Okay, so can you please either move yourself out the frame, and I'll be much happy about that. Is that okay? Unless you want to join and team teach today. Okay, no, Dean doesn't want to team teach. I don't know why, because Dean's a very good mathematician, doesn't even realize it, okay? Yeah, okay, so bar modeling, and how can we make maths come alive with bar modeling? Right, so I've written some questions, and I'm going to teach about bar modeling, and I'm going to create that mental picture, that mental image in your brain. I've got a whiteboard with me, and I don't always have the whiteboard with me. I've brought it with me today simply because I wanted to make sure that everyone understands and knows that when we're talking about bar modeling, we're talking about a rectangular bar. And the rectangular bar that I have got in front of me, it measures about 15 centimeters long, and my rectangular bar measures about 7 centimeters wide. So this is 15 centimeters long and 7 centimeters wide, okay? That's what it is. But it can be longer, it can be shorter, but it is a rectangle. Now, so here's one of my first questions, okay? And when I was making it up, I was laughing to myself because, you know me, when it comes to maths and when it comes to fractions, particularly fractions, there's so much fun that I can have, and I want you to have that fun, and I want you to have that engagement, that excitement, that effervescent knowledge of maths. Paula has 12 balloons. So this young person called Paula has got 12 balloons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, 2/3 of those 12 balloons are green? And the question is, how many of those 12 balloons are green? The information that I've given you is Paula has 12 balloons. So what I like to do is I like to underline key vocabulary and key information when I'm answering questions when it comes to maths. So Paula has 12 balloons. So I've underlined the number 12. 2/3 of them, I've underlined the fraction 2/3. 2/3 of them are green. And so I've underlined the word green. So in my question, I've underlined 12, I've underlined 2/3, and I've underlined green, because these are the most important key parts of the question. Paula has 12 balloons, 2/3 of them are green. How many of them are green? Right, we're going to use bar modeling, and we're going to use my rectangular bar. So here's my rectangular bar that I've told you about. I've drawn a rectangular bar, and now this is where math becomes exciting, because I said to you that this rectangle is 15 centimeters long, and I did it on purpose because the fraction that Paula is going to give of 12 of green balloons is 2/3. So I'm looking at my fraction. I've got my numerator, the number at the top is 2, and then my denominator, the number underneath, is 3. So my numerator is 2. I've written it here. My numerator is 2 and my denominator is 3. Now my denominator is telling me how many equal parts I need to divide my rectangle up into. So my denominator is telling me how many equal parts should I share my rectangular bar up into. And it is 3 equal parts. So I'm going to divide my rectangle into 3 equal parts, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I've divided my rectangular bar into 3 equal parts. Now, I said to you that Paula has 12 balloons. So this whole rectangular bar is worth 12 because she has got 12 balloons. Okay, so the whole rectangular bar is worth 12 because she has got 12 balloons. My whole number is 12. The rectangular bar is worth 12 balloons. I've divided my rectangle up into 3 equal parts because my denominator is telling me to use the rectangle and divide it into 3 equal parts. Denominator is the number, the digit at the bottom underneath the line, and the numerator is the number above it, and that tells me how many parts to take. Right, so if I have got 12 balloons, well, Paula has got 12 balloons, and I've divided my rectangle into 3 equal parts, that is asking me. Now, remember I said to you that when you're using bar modeling, it's helping you to understand how to solve problems. So the first problem that I've got, not only did I have to measure and split it into equal parts, but I need to know what is the value of each of those equal parts. So if I have got 12 balloons and I've divided my rectangle into 3 equal parts, the calculation that I need to do now is 12 divided by 3 parts, and that equals 4. So each of these 3 individual parts is worth 4 balloons. Because remember, Paula started with 12 balloons. I've divided my rectangle into 3 equal parts. How did I know it's 3? Because my denominator told me it's 3. And then I did 12 divided by 3 because I wanted to know how many balloons is each of those 3 parts worth. So I'm going to write 4 balloons in each of these. So now each of these 3 parts is worth 4 balloons. And 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. And that's how many balloons Paula has got. Can you see already? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you who are shouting at the screen to say you know what the answer is, because this is visual. It's like a story. It's making you understand the maths behind the problem. So I've said to you, 2/3 of Paula's 12 balloons are green. So each of these equal parts is worth 1/3, because 3/3 equals 1 whole and 3/3 is 12. So each of these 3 individual pieces is worth 1/3, and each third has got a value of 4 balloons. Now I've said to you that Paula has said that 2/3 of her balloons are green. 2/3 of her balloons are green. So that means I am going to shade 1/3 followed by another third. So I have now shaded 2/3, 2 out of 3 pieces. So because each third is worth 4 balloons, 4 plus 4 equals 8. So that is telling me that Paula has got 8 green balloons. Isn't maths amazing? Listen, this type of question I've seen in a GCSE paper, foundation. I've also seen this being used in a year 5 and 6 classroom. So maths covers all the key stages. I don't want anyone to think, oh, because I'm in secondary school, I don't need to be doing my tables. Wrong. Whether you're in secondary, primary, university, tertiary, college, every area of maths, it follows you through, because you're building as you get older, as your math skills become much more refined and solid and consolidated, you're building from the time before, the year group before. And this is what makes maths so, so special. Okay, so Paula had 8 green balloons. And I know I'm going to say it's simple because I want you to see maths as being approachable. I know a lot of you say to me, Mr. Numbervator, I don't like maths, and that's fine. Not everyone likes maths, and I don't expect everyone to like maths. But what I expect everyone to do is to have a go and to maybe try and conquer their fear of maths and number. And who's the best person to do that? Yep, it's yours truly, me, Mr. Numbervator. So already I've had a couple of teachers who have just sent me messages to say that the bar modeling that I'm showing on the screen, because we're broadcasting live, is making it much more understandable for the young people that they work with. So I've built up the rectangle. I've explained what a rectangle is. I've divided it into 3 equal parts, and so on and so on. This is the exciting part of maths and learning maths, and for me, teaching maths. So here is our next question. You're going to like the 2 names that I've chosen. Paul and Paula. There you go, the female and the male. Paul and Paula share £50, £50, in the ratio of 2 to 3. So that means in the £50, Paul is going to get 2 parts of the £50, and Paula is going to get 3 parts of the £50. How did I know that Paul was going to get 2 parts and Paula was going to get 3 parts? Well, I knew because when I explained the question, when I read the question, I mentioned Paul's name first, then I mentioned the number 2 first in the ratio. So that means Paul is going to get 2 parts of the £50 and Paula is going to get 3 parts of the £50. So if Paul is going to get 2 parts of the £50 and Paula is going to get 3 parts of the £50, that means 2 plus 3 is 5. So that means there are 5 parts within the £50. So what do I need to do to help me solve the problem? I need to take my £50 and I need to divide it by the 5 parts. Where did the number 5 come from? Well, it came from Paul is going to get 2 parts of the £50 and Paula is going to get 3 parts of the £50. and 2 plus 3 equals 5. So there are 5 parts in the £50. So I am going to go back to my rectangular bar again. I've cleaned it. I'm using the same rectangular bar. This is the magic, and this is the power of a whiteboard. We call this the whiteboard. This is the whiteboard pen. You can rub it off. But this is the power of bar modeling. You can use one bar for any topic. And I've used it for 2 different questions now. So my whole rectangular bar is worth £50 because that is how much money Paul and Paula are going to share in the ratio of 2 to 3. Now, what is ratio? Ratio is a relationship between 2 or more quantities. Okay, ratio is a partnership between 2 or more quantities. It's a relationship and it's making sense of parts of a whole. So I'm going to put P for Paula, for Paul, and I'm going to put PA for Paula. Okay, so Paul has got 2 parts. Paula, PA, has got 3 parts. That means my denominator is now 5. Where did the 5 come from? It came from me adding the 2 and the 3, okay? So my denominator is 5. So I need to divide my rectangular bar into 5 equal pieces. And that's what I am doing at the moment now. And I'm going to show you. So I have now got 5 equal pieces that I've divided my rectangular bar up into. So each of those 5 equal parts is worth 1/5 because 5/5 is 1 whole. So I'm going to write the fraction 1/5, another 5th, another 5th, another 5th, and another 5th. I'm just doing that because I just want you to see the relationship between ratio and fractions and number. Everything is linked together. So these are my 5ths, okay? Now, the total parts is 5. Where did the 5 come from? From adding the 2 and the 3 parts to give me 5. So now we need to work out what is the value of each part. Well, if I've got £50 and I've got 5 equal parts, my calculation is 50 divided by 5. And so that gives me an answer of 10. So each of my 5 equal parts is worth £10. So £10, another £10, another £10, another £10, and another £10. So 5 times 10 is 50. Okay, so the ratio is 2 to 3, and those 2 dots in the middle are called colon. They separate the ratios. You can turn a ratio into a fraction, and that's the reason why I wrote 1/5. Right, so here we go. So we're told that Paul is going to get 2 parts, in other words, 2/5, and Paula is going to get 3 parts, in other words, 3/5. So that means Paula is going to get more of the amount of money than Paul is, because she's got more parts. And what did I say at the beginning of the show? Bar modeling, the bigger the rectangular bar or the bigger the part of the rectangular bar, the more value that it is. So I'm showing you all the connections. So Paul is going to get 2 parts. I'm going to put Paul, and I'm going to put Paul, and then Paula is going to get 3 parts. And so now we can see that Paul is going to get 2 parts, which is 10 plus 10, and Paula is going to get 3 parts, which is 10 plus 10 plus 10. So Paul is going to get £20 from the £50, and Paula is going to get £30 from the £50. And £20 plus £30 is equal to the £50, and that is how much money they shared. 2 marks, question solved. Okay, this is the power of bar modeling. It allows you to interact with a rectangle, okay, a normal rectangle. It can be a long or a short rectangle, but it allows you to make sense. I'm just rubbing off the whiteboards, ready for our next question. It allows you to make sense of the maths problem, but in a much more visual, a much more interactive, and a much more exciting way. That's the way I'm gonna use the word exciting because you know me, you know me by now. Maths is very, very exciting. And that is the reason why Sovereign Comics and myself, we've joined together because we all find teaching and learning so exciting. So I've got my rectangular bar back again, and we're going to go for a very short ad break. And when we come back after the ad break, there's a question that I want to answer with you. I'm going to read the question out to you before the ad break so you can start thinking about how is Mr. Numbervator going to use his rectangle to answer the question. So here we go. On Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. On Tuesday, he sold 15 more chocolate bars than Monday. How many chocolate bars did he sell all together? So after the break, we're going to visually represent this problem. Let me read it actually once more. On Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. On Tuesday, he sold 15 more chocolate bars than Monday. How many chocolate bars did he sell altogether? Listen, the maths show with me, Mr. Numbervator, Sovereign Comics, and Dean, who you saw in the picture there, but never mind, it's not his fault. But yeah, that you get to learn everything about maths. See you shortly. Don't go anywhere too far.
Hi, my name is Kwaku. Some people know me as Kwaku BBM. I've been doing events around Black
Dean, you're in the picture.
and music industry.
Yeah,
For several years. However, this Saturday,
I know I am. What's is that the new comic? Which one is it? Oh, okay. I thought it was the angle. I thought it was the angled one. So I'm still in the picture. So this is a rectangular bar, and after the short ad break, we're going to be using this to help us with our learning. So what you can do during the short ad break is get your piece of paper, get a ruler, draw a rectangular bar that is no more than 15 centimeters long, 7 centimeters wide, and then you can actually interact with the rectangular bar and bar modeling. It's been a really good first part of the show. See you shortly.
Antenatal and postnatal care, day and play sessions, plus a wide range of family activities. Your local family wellbeing centres in Brent can support you and your family in lots of useful ways. For expectant
Dean, do you want
parents
to pause it?
and those with babies and young children, there's help with parenting, breastfeeding, plus support for parents or carers to manage their own wellbeing with 8 family wellbeing centres across Brent. There's a local one near you, and they are your family's open door.
not ordinary.
Picture this. You stroll through our campuses in Paddington and Maida Vale, surrounded by buzzing energy and endless possibilities. With over 200 courses to choose from, there's something here for everyone. Whether you want to get your hands dirty in our motor vehicle workshops,
To the perfect shot in our photography studios.
perform on stage in our theatre,
or unleash your inner Einstein in our science labs.
we've got it all.
Apply today to City of Westminster College.
Go to www.sovereigncomics.co.uk and get your latest issue of Mr. Numbervator's Maths comic book series today. You are now tuned into the Mr. Numbervator show every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Chalk Hill Community Radio Station. Let's get mathematical.
Hi, good evening, and welcome back to part 2 of the Math Show with me, Mr. Numbervator, on Chalk Hill Community Radio Station, supported, sponsored, taken care of by Sovereign Comics and Mr. Numbervator myself. And it's about bringing maths to you, bringing maths to the community, bringing maths to all schools, whoever you are, whatever your age range, but making your learning experience, your learning journey exciting, worthwhile, and making it valuable. Today's show is about bar modeling and how we can use bar modeling to support, to enhance, to introduce this idea of making teaching and learning visual, making it interactive, helping you to create a mental picture of what we are talking about. Yes, I'm using a whiteboard, but I don't always use a whiteboard because our ears hear information. Our ears take the information in, the brain does all the sorting, and that gives you the understanding. Listen, when you're listening to music sometimes and you hear the lyrics over and over again, you remember them. You don't have to see them written down, you remember the lyrics. This is what the Math Show is about. We are constantly going over the same topics, we are revisiting, we are deepening your understanding, and by listening, you are taking the information in. Okay? This is what the Math Show is. Because people always said, how can you teach maths on the radio? This is coming from head teachers. And the same head teachers are now saying to me, Mr. Numbervator, Isaac, we didn't realize the power and potential of listening and the Math Show. And they're listening today. Okay, on with today's question. The next question for this evening. On Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. So I'm using my bar modeling again. So I've got the word Monday, and next to the word Monday, I've got a rectangular bar, and that rectangular bar is worth 72 chocolate bars. How do I know it's worth 72 chocolate bars? Because it's part of the question. And I'm going to read the question out to you again, and then I'm going to tell you the words that I've underlined. On Monday, so I've underlined the word Monday, and I've written the word Monday on the board. On Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. On Tuesday, he sold 50 more than 72 chocolate bars than Monday. I've added that sentence in to make it much more understandable. So on Monday, I underlined the word Monday, I've underlined the number 72, I've underlined 15 more, and I've underlined the word altogether. On Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. On Tuesday, he sold 15 more chocolate bars than he did on Monday. So he sold 72 chocolate bars on Tuesday, but he sold 15 more than 72. I've just given the game away. I've just given you the answer, but that's what maths is all about. It's the way that it's introduced, it's the way that it's delivered, it's presented, and how you engage. So with my rectangular bars, I've got the word Monday, and next to the word Monday, I have got a rectangular bar with the number 72 in it, because there were 72 chocolate bars sold on Monday. Now, underneath that rectangular bar, I've got another rectangular bar, the same size, because on Tuesday, Lee also sold 72 chocolate bars, but he sold 15 more chocolate bars than Monday. So on Monday, he sold 72. On Tuesday, he sold 72 plus 15. Now, the question is, how many chocolate bars did he sell all together? Look, you can see 72 plus 72 plus 15, and you've got your answer of 159 chocolate bars he sold all together. That is it. And I've just used bar modeling to answer quite a sophisticated, and it could be seen as a challenging question, but you can see how easy it is. Okay, I've got Monday and Tuesday. I can now start swapping around Monday's chocolate bars sold with another number, and then I can match it with Tuesday. I can then say I sold 24 more chocolate bars than Tuesday. You now know what to do to get the answer. And this is the power of bar modeling. Okay, this is the power of bar modeling. It allows me to be teaching you in a much more friendly, visual, mentally stimulating way than I would otherwise. Okay, so what is bar modeling? It's simply using a rectangular bar. It was developed in Singapore in the 1980s. Why? To help pupils, students who were struggling with maths and who maybe had reached that abstract age, but still were not able to understand what that abstract means. And they needed something that was more concrete and pictorial. That is the reason why Singapore maths became really, really popular. The British government adopted it here, and it's been built into the curriculum here. And so all school children, primary, secondary, know about bar modeling, and they know how to use the rectangular bar to enhance and support their teaching. My final question is this one: 1/5 of 20. What is 1/5 of 20? And I'm going to use bar modeling to help me. Yes, I know a lot of you are shouting down at the TV screen or at the monitor, oh, why don't you divide 20 by 5 and times it by 1? Yes, that's what you can do. But if you're not one of those young people who is confident with division or multiplication, or if you're one of those people who does not like maths, but you like that visual, creative side of teaching, this is where bar modeling is designed for you. So the question is 1/5 of 20. What is 1/5 of 20? Right. So I'm going to draw my rectangular bar. This time, my rectangular bar, I'm going to make it about 12 centimeters long. Okay. Right. So there's my rectangular bar. Okay. It's a rectangle. It's got two long sides, two short sides. The long side is perpendicular to the short side, and so on and so on. Right. Now, I am told that we want 1/5 of 20. So my whole rectangular bar, the value of the whole is worth 20. So I've written the number 20. So the rectangular bar has now got a value of 20. Now I am told that my denominator is 5 because the question is 1/5 of 20. So because my denominator is 5 as the number underneath the line, I'm going to divide my rectangular bar up into 5 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish. No, I'm not going to sing. Right. Okay. 5 equal pieces. So I've divided my rectangular bar into 5 equal pieces. Why is it 5 equal pieces? Because my denominator in my fraction is 5. So it's 5 equal pieces, 5 equal parts. Okay. Now I need to know how much each of those 5 equal parts is worth from that 20. So my calculation now becomes 20 divided by 5, and that gives me an answer of 4. So I now know that each of these equal parts is worth 4. And that's what I've shown you there, 4. I also know that each of these equal parts as a fraction is 1/5. And as we know, 5/5 equals 1 whole. Okay, so that's what my rectangular bar looks like. Now the question is 1/5 of 20. So that means I just need this rectangular. I'm going to put a lovely big tick above that one. And that's the only rectangular bar that I need because I need one of them. And so 1/5 of 20 is 4. Bar modeling, it allows you to read a math problem like you're reading a storybook. Because as I was telling you, in my mind, I was telling you a story and you were following me and you were making sense of the story and you were making, oh, that's a nice comment, and you were making the story come alive. Okay, 1/5 of 20 using bar modeling. Okay, on Monday, Lee sold 72 chocolate bars. On Tuesday, he sold 15 more chocolate bars than Monday. So that means he sold 72 on plus 72. So that's how we get our answer. And 72 plus 15 is 87. So he sold 87 chocolate bars on Tuesday. When you add 72 onto that, you get 159. Brilliant. How many chocolate bars did he sell altogether? And then we had Paula has 20 balloons. 2/3 of them are green. How many of Paula's green balloons, of 12 balloons are green? We then had Paul and Paula sharing £50 in the ratio of 2:3. That's 2 parts to Paul, 3 parts to Paula. How many parts altogether do we need to divide our rectangular bar that's worth £50 up into? So that number is 5, and that is basically your denominator. So Singapore Maths bar modeling is designed to make teaching and learning visual, mentally stimulating, mentally exciting, making it relevant, making it real, and making it purposeful. Today's show has gone so quickly, and that's because it's just been so exciting, so exciting. Maths is exciting, and I always say maths is for everyone, and everyone can do maths, especially with me, Mr. Numbervator, and Sovereign Comics. I'm going to show you the comics once more before we finish because they are just so exciting. This one is about multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. Look at the graphics there. Yes, that's me at the top of the picture in blue. If I just show you the inside, I mean, look at that. You're not going to get this. You don't get this on the shops when you go into the shops. This is far above what you're going to get in any shop. Okay, and this is what Dean from Sovereign Comics he's done. It's just absolutely, oh, Dean done. It's just amazing. Okay, so that's multiplying and divided by 10, 100, and 1,000. This is the activity books that comes with each of the comics. So when you get the comic, you can then buy the activity books, and they're all differentiated in terms of emerging, secure, and greater depth, and so on. Each of these activities have been designed by me, yours truly. They are unique. You do not see them or find them anywhere apart from Sovereign Comics and myself. And then we've got Mr. Numbervator, double digits. So in this one, we put 2 comics into one, equivalent fractions, and the angles, and multiplying and divided by 10, 100, and 1,000. So that's going into this one here, amazing. And then this one here is about amazing angles, and angles is another one of my favorite topics. So that's what it is there, amazing angles. And this comes with 3 differentiated activity books, and it's designed to help you with your learning, master your maths, and become the best mathematician you possibly can. Every Wednesday between the hour of 5:30 and 6:30, you've got me on Chalk Community Radio Station with the Maths Show. On a Tuesday between 7:30 and 9:30, you've got the sing-along show with our very resident DJ Everton. Wednesday in the afternoon between 3:30 and 4:30, you've got Foreign Vibes, and that is presented by Dads. You've got me, 5:30 to 6:30, Mr. Numbervator, the Math Show. On Saturday, you've got the Let's Talk show with the amazing Blaze and Big E. And then every alternate Saturday, you've got the Health Show, Health and Wellbeing Show with our very own health consultant, Charles. And this Saturday It's about pharmaceuticals and how just understanding and accepting that using natural remedies is often the best way forward. So tune in on Saturday to Blaze and to Charles between 1:30 and 2:30, and Blaze between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. It's been a great evening. I so enjoy Wednesday evenings and the math show. It's been great having comments from a lot of you who are teachers, sending in messages and love hearts. I know that you're not saying that you love me, but you're saying that you're enjoying the show. And that's what we need. Sign up, sovereigncomics.co.uk. That's where you get the comics from. You can also get them. I can direct you, if you know my email, dr_knows@hotmail.com. It's been great working with you. Thank you very much to everyone. Have a great evening. Remember, enjoy your maths lessons. You can always call into the maths show on 07535 644 850. Have a great evening. Thank you and goodbye.